Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Yes, my hair is all roughly because I cannot be bothered with having my hair in my face all the time now. And it's almost hair wash day. Bear with me. Right, you guys, this video I feel roughly is needed. I know it's quick and easy to jump off in the comments and say roughly that people are using what's known as my dead name, which is Nikki Nicholas. But what you guys have to understand is not everyone is supportive. I am in a far better place with some of my family members than I was years ago. Now, there are family members, and I will admit this here and now, that use my name Elena, and then there are the few that refuse, and then there are the few that will use it but then forget, and sometimes the name doesn't work with them and they can't seem to spell it and understand why I chose this name. Now I'm going to get into the gist of why I chose an extremely feminine name. And I chose this name because when you're going for a gender clinic, I remember back in 2012 they told me they're looking for commitment and they're looking for feminine names. And what you guys need to understand is I decided to go for a more feminine name, knowing I was going to change it later on, because the gender clinics, they're very specific about what they want. They don't tell you what they want, because if you chose a gender neutral name, they'd go to, well, why did you choose that name? That's a name between what they know you as, what and that lot, and who you are now today. Why would you choose a gender neutral name and not gone for a more feminine name? For me, I decided to go for a more feminine name because I wanted to get that one step through the door with it and to secure as much as I could before I made the official transition to my original name. My original name is Nicholas, but everybody all through my life called me Nikki, and it's more easy for me to go from Elena to Nikki because I basically have been that my whole life. And what people don't understand is dyslexia runs so severely in my family. I'm actually dyslexic. My mum has it more worse than a lot of my family members and that lot. And back when she was at school, she was left in a class and she had proper learning difficulties, and my nana can vouch for this. So my mum doesn't have basically the capability and the understanding of certain things in life. She understands what I'm going through. Yeah, she kind of sees it as a mental disorder, but the thing is, roughly my mum knows that I have to do what I have to do. She doesn't fully understand it, but she's done her own research to try and help. And every parent in the entire world will always say to you, as long as you are happy and as long as you know what you are doing and you're doing it the right way. This is why I explain in my videos that it is better to wait for the NHS and to take things slowly than just jumping the gun. Because if you were like me many years ago, roughly, I pissed off a lot of people. I jumped the bandwagon. I made it more harder for people to understand, and roughly I basically thought, roughly, you know what, I'm living my life, roughly fuck you guys and that. But the thing is, you have to understand that not everyone is accepting. I don't have an accepting brother. He's not in my life currently. And sometimes things occur in families where they won't understand. Now when it comes to the name change, it is the biggest thing in your transition, just to have that piece of paper that says you are now known as female, or if you're known as male, and that lot, and to have your name. But for me, that was only a temporary solution, because I knew I wanted basically a gender neutral name. Nikki Wright. And believe it or not, when January hits, that's when roundabout I'll be changing my name, and I'll be changing my YouTube name, no longer to Elena Genevieve. I will still keep the videos up, but my title of my new channel will be called The Next Right Thing, because that's where I want my life to go, roughly, basically, so you guys can see what's next in each of my journeys. Like I said, roughly, I will not force my beliefs on people. I don't think it's right, and I think if you force people and say to them, no, that's wrong, people will continue to use that name. But for me as a person, I will not force people to use Elena, as long as they don't disrespect me and keep calling me he, you're a boy with that and that lot. That's disrespect. Using a slight dead name, yeah, obviously it's a bit annoying, but the thing is, that name in one sense was a part of my journey, and it helped mold me into the person I am today, and that name will still continue to be a part of my life. And like I said, my mum's severely dyslexic. Roughly, she cannot spell Elena, and she cannot spell my last name, but she calls me she. Sometimes she will slip up and call me, you know, like a son and stuff and a lot, but guess what, that's family. I told this to the gender clinic. They were like, oh, do many people use your new name? And I told them straight up, no. And they were like, why? And I told them, I will not force my beliefs on anyone. I will not force someone to basically say, use my new name, and say, no, you're not calling me this, you're calling me by this. I prefer people to basically do what they want, as long as they don't disrespect me. As long as they call me female, she, I'm perfectly fine with it. And the gender clinic was okay with it, because they all understand that not all families are the same. I'm actually quite lucky, roughly, that I have a lot of family members that are in fact sticking by me, and that some understand, and some of them are still doing research. I actually have a cousin, her daughter's just come out as a trans man. So something is always going off. Things are not always understood. And I've come so far in my life. Elena Genevieve will always be a part of me. And that is why next year I'm getting a tattoo as memorabilia. I'm getting some sort of tattoo as memorabilia, and then I'm having Elena Genevieve put in with the tattoo in wording, and I will look at my deed poll from the year I changed it, the date and the month, and then when I ended that name, as complete memorabilia, because that name has helped me transition. It's made me who I am, and it's just molded, that name's just molded me as a person. I got so far to the place that I thought I'd get years ago, but here I am today, and it is completely okay, and there's no need to have effect if someone is using your old name. Transition is a process. Don't forget, people transition with you. It's not just hard on us as trans people, it's hard on them too. And we have to work together. If you try and do this by yourself, you're not going to succeed in a happy way. If you slightly take baby steps and join people, roughly get them used to certain things, and then allow certain steps up, and that people will understand. You have to give people time. Like I said, some people won't understand. Research is a good thing to help with. And if they've got a family member like I have that's going through the exact same thing I was going through years ago, help them. Believe it or not, I want to help my cousin's son now with his transition, because roughly, in one sense, I went through my full medical transition. I still am. Yes, it means roughly the process is starting all over again, where I have to change all my details and everything. But you know what? It's completely fine. I do think Nikki suits me better, and I am going for my original birth name, which is Wright, W-R-G-H-T, Nikki Wright. And that lot, yeah, I changed it to Elena Genevieve, but like I said, I had to start somewhere. And when I first started basically experimenting with names, I started with Facebook. Instead of doing this Starbucks cup thing, I didn't do that. I explained in a long message on Facebook that I'm going to be experimenting with female names, and that things would eventually change, and they did. I changed my name by deed poll, which is what happens here in the UK. Family members will come round. Be patient, stay calm, and remember, life is a journey, not just a destination. Set your goals, change your name, experiment with names, and understand you are not alone in this. Family members will go through the exact same thing. They transition with you, not against you. Some family members will not understand. Some family members or friends will even say no. Push them aside, leave them to do their own thing. If they come back to you, then that's fine. But you have to understand that it is completely okay not to like a certain name. I don't mind the name Elena Genevieve, but guess what? It doesn't fit in my everyday life, and that's okay. The outside world knows me. They know my name. Family members know my name, and they know my new name and my old name. Some are okay to say it, some are not. But guess what? I am doing this name change for me and to make it fit my everyday life, because I always thought Nikki would be the name I would go for, but because the gender clinic does not like gender neutral names, to make sure I got that extra step through the door and to make sure I got my hormones, I showed them commitment. I proved to them, hopefully, this is what I want, this is who I am, and this is what I'm doing, and it's okay. I even ran the gender clinic and said, would my process stop if I change my name, because I'm not happy with my name, because it doesn't fit my everyday life anymore? And they said nothing will change. But I made sure before I went to my gender clinic appointment that every little step I took was what I wanted. And it's like when I change my name next year, they're going to question it. But guess what, like I have said, it doesn't fit with my everyday life. I wanted a more feminine name just to try it, and I've been known as that name for many years, and I'm still happy with it. But guess what, Wolfie? It's time to move on. It's a new year and new things to come. And I hope you guys are here and you are going to understand that sometimes it's not easy for certain family members, especially a mum and a dad. They both react differently to this kind of thing. My mum is okay. She's not the most supportive, but she's 5 times more better than she was years ago. And even though she calls me by my old name. She calls me Nikki. Nikki is gender neutral. And she calls me her daughter. She calls me her son. I'm okay with that. My older sister Tammy and my younger sister Chantal, they're okay. They still call me Nikki. Sometimes they'll call me Elena, but they call me by female. And that sometimes they'll slip up. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, this is my bro. And what you need to do, if someone says, oh, this is my brother but he's transitioning into my sister, lighten the mood. I had to at my sister's workplace. There was a situation, my sister didn't know how to basically say that I'm on hormones and stuff, and she says, oh, this is my brother / sister, he's basically transforming into a woman. I said, yeah, I'm 50-50, I'm Hovis bred. Well, I says, I'm a bit of everything. To lighten the mood, to make the situation not as complicated as it is. Instead of kicking off, I lightened the mood and I made someone laugh. Just remember, stay humble, stay true, and love yourself. And if you are going to choose a more feminine name and then change it later on, perfectly okay. We all have to start somewhere in life to get where we need to be. Sometimes what we desire doesn't always happen, but you can make it work. Bye guys.